Hello and welcome. My name is Chris Shelton, coming to you with your DIY home remedies guide to health, happiness, and healing transformation. And I thought it'd be cool if we shot from our studios in downtown Willow Glen at the Morning Crane Healing Arts Center. Today what I thought I'd talk about in appreciation for Valentine's Day, love, that we talk about heart palpitations and what are heart palpitations, what are their causes, and what can we do to either prevent or to get them to stop. So heart palpitations in general are normally not a sign of heart disease themselves. Now heart palpitations can be fluttering, racing of the heart feels like it's skipping a beat, and the heart feels like it's running a lot faster than what it should be. So those are some of the basic symptoms, and a lot of times the causes can be drinking too much, smoking, exercise, smoking too much marijuana, and also obviously stress. So according to Chinese medicine, your heart is the emperor or empress of the body. So during this season, we really want to look at the heart and how these palpitations really come up, especially towards Valentine's Day, because the emotion, the positive virtue of the heart is love. The negative emotion that affects the heart is actually abandonment, loneliness, and lack of joy. Especially around Valentine's Day, which my wife actually calls another holiday that represents consumer whorism. It's kind of extreme, but anyways, that's the term that she uses. Valentine's Day, a lot of times there's a lot of this expectation. I've seen it over and over again where people are expecting love or looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love, too many places. Anyways, I'll stick to my day job as healing and teaching classes. Anyways, so people wanting love, people seeking love, and then that fulfillment doesn't happen, and it really stinks when you see somebody else or other people that are happy, that have somebody in their life already, like I do. I'm so lucky to have Miss P, Miss P-ness in my life, and and anyways, if you're somebody that doesn't have anybody during this time of year, you may notice that you start to feel more of these sensations of heart palpitations coming on. Now, heart palpitations obviously don't always come on around Valentine's Day, but once again, just because we're talking about heart palpitations in conjunction with Valentine's Day, that's the only reason why I'm addressing this here. So, again, the negative emotions are abandonment, loneliness, lack of joy, even sorrow. So your heart takes the brunt of all the emotions. It dictates how much of an emotion is going to be expressed or suppressed. So your heart takes the brunt of everything. So for example, your heart takes a brunt of abandonment and loss, and then it attacks the heart and then weakens your lungs. It takes the brunt of anger, and then it weakens your liver. It takes the brunt of worry and it weakens your spleen and your pancreas. It takes the brunt of fear and then it weakens your kidneys. So your heart is the emperor or empress of the body. And if you are feeling or experiencing heart palpitations, one thing that I do is I look at, well, what are you doing in your lifestyle? What's going on? So are you drinking too much, smoking too much? Or is it only happening during certain times like exercise, or just even taking a brisk walk, or if you're in a stressful situation, and or if you're at work? Taking an inventory as to what's going on in your life is really a key component, because heart palpitations, just like any other symptom inside the body, is not by accident. It's your body's way of saying, listen to me, there's something knocking on your back door that you are not addressing or you're not paying attention to, or who knows, maybe if you did have a broken heart, or if you are feeling abandoned or loneliness during this time of year or any time of the year, maybe that's what it is. I would start by journaling it out, and if you know what's going on, so if you feel lonely during this time of year or any time of the year, or if you just lost a loved one, or your love of your life is not meeting or fulfilling your expectations or what you really want from the relationship, I would really start to journal that stuff out. And if you are in a relationship that's not fulfilling what it is that you want, I'd really go into detail as to what are the things that you are looking for. And before I met Parisa, I had all kinds of failed relationships. I suffered from a broken heart myself. You could tell I have a line bisecting the front of my nose here. And finally what I did was I took a couple years off and I did Qigong. I was training martial arts and all kinds of stuff. I focused on the business and training, etc. And also really working on myself to change my vibration and my pattern. One of the things that I did that's very useful is I actually made a list, and we could actually, if you click on the link below, where we have a copy of that list that we give to our clients here in San Jose and in Los Angeles. And on this list, what it has is what you want from your relationship. So it's your must-haves, your negotiables, and the deal breakers. Most people don't really know what they want from somebody, so hence they just draw in whoever, whatever. and keep on playing over the same pattern and the same mistakes over and over and over again. I know that that was my pattern until I finally understood what my pattern was. And once I got clear on, what were the must-haves, for me, physically and emotionally available are must-haves. A good sense of humor, a must-have somebody a good sense of humor. Negotiable also could be, whether they had kids or not, or whether they would Dutch oven you, which my wife does to me more than one occasion. And what are things that are not okay with you? What are the deal breakers? Okay, and so the more clear that you are with your must-haves, your negotiables, and what the deal breakers on, then guess what? You now have clarity. And the cool thing about this list is that it doesn't have to be complete all at once. You start to journal it out a little bit here, a little bit there. You may find that some things that were deal breakers, you kind of move it over to your negotiable areas. And or your must-haves become more negotiable. So the more clear you are, the more you have a deeper understanding as to what it is that you're looking for and what it is that you desire to have in your life. But also too, the universe actually sees that intention. And when the universe actually sees that intention, guess what? Then that actually comes to you. And I would be very, very specific. For example, you could meet the best woman or man out there, and they live on the East Coast, and here we are in California. Now for some people, long distance relationships are okay, so that would be a negotiable. But for some people like myself, I want the person to be where I'm living at. So, to me, the person's proximity or location is a must-have. I don't want them living halfway around the world or whatnot. Okay, so once again, just really being clear and precise as to what it is that you want, what's negotiable, and what is the deal breaker. If you saw last week's video, last week I was talking about cervical issues and frozen shoulder, and how heart emotions that affect the heart actually are the root cause of cervical issues and or frozen shoulder, unless you got into a car accident or you're a pitcher and you dislocated your shoulder, something of that nature. But about 90% of the shoulder and cervical issues that we see out there, even degeneration of the disc and degeneration of the nerve coming out of the cervical spine, comes back to emotions that affect the heart. So the emotions that we want to focus on if we're having heart palpitations is maybe if we are under a lot of stress. What gives us anxiety in our life? Maybe having to go to work. Maybe it's our commute to go to work that gives us this anxiety, or gives us this heart palpitations, where this fluttering or this racing that's happening, or we start to feel that the heart's missing a beat. Maybe our dog just ran away. Maybe we just had to put our dog or cat to sleep. Maybe one of our loved ones is very sick and is in the hospital right now. Maybe somebody you love or somebody that you know that's close to you has passed away. Maybe this is around the time, which is an anniversary, where you had a love loss or somebody has passed away. So there's all these emotions that come in, and the heart, this is the center of our consciousness. There's actually science that actually shows that when two people give a sincere hug, both hearts actually move a little bit closer together. So this heart is feeling and it's expressing, it loves warmth, it loves love, and it's not just romantic type of love, but it's also the universal love that all beings should have for one another. So a couple of simple practices to do. Number one is to do the heart sound. And if you know what's causing the heart palpitations, let's say a love loss, anniversary of somebody passing away, the dog having to be put to sleep, too much stress at work or whatnot, then I want you to focus on that. Focus on that experience, focus on the person, the situation, the pet, whatever it is. Feel it. I want you to feel it. The color pink and the color red is associated with the heart. So I want you to imagine a pink cloud filling up into the heart as you inhale. Then as you exhale, making the sound of ha, like laughing. Ha. And imagine that leaving like a dark cloud, going several feet away from the body and deep into the ground. As I inhale, and once again, I'm going to do this over and over and over again. If you are in public, obviously, you're not going to probably do that sound audibly, so you're going to do the sound underneath your breath, inhaling. And I'm going to do that over and over and over again until I get the palpitations to stop, and or until I get that feeling of loss or whatever it is that has broken my heart or has created this temporary dysfunction to show up in my life. Another cool thing that I like to do sometimes on my own, if I am experiencing some of these heart palpitations or whatnot, because I have experienced them in the past, is I will actually tap onto the ends of the pinky here. This is where the heart meridian ends, and then it connects to the small intestine meridian, so both relating to the fire element. The heart meridian, the heart itself is considered yin, the small intestine is considered a yang organ counterpart to the heart. And when I make the sound, I actually will press, obviously if you're driving you're not going to do this, but I will press, inhaling, and I'll make this sound over and over and over again, allowing for the circumstance. The key is that you have to be mindful here and really tap in. Don't just do the sound just to do the sound, but do the sound with the connection of some kind of circumstance. And if you don't know what's creating the heart palpitations for you, let's say for example, everything's going on correctly in your life, there's no discord whatsoever, and you're all of a sudden feeling this fluttering or this racing inside the chest, then you just focus on that, and as you exhale, making the ha sound, imagine that fluttering or that racing or that heart skipping a beat, imagine that flowing out the mouth like a dark cloud going several feet away from the body and deep into the ground. Now, one of the questions that some of our Qigong students ask us is, they say, Chris, when I watch your videos or I read your book, you always say disperse the negative energy deep into the earth. So some people will say, well, aren't you actually creating toxins for the earth? Aren't we contaminating the earth by doing this? And the answer is no. The earth is receptive. They say heaven is creative, earth is receptive. So if you think about it, when you have a dump somewhere, when you dump things and then the dump finally gets to capacity, they cover it up with dirt. And after a couple of years, what starts to happen is like you start to see natural gas or smell natural gas coming out from the ground or whatnot, because what's happening is that earth is now recycling and decomposing it and then allowing for it to disperse. So you're not putting more toxicity into the ground, you actually are helping to release this energy, which then helps to create a space for you to heal. And also the earth actually, I think, loves to be a part of that to a certain extent. So just to wrap up here, enjoying this Valentine's Day, we're talking about the heart palpitations, and once again, heart palpitations normally are not a clinical sign of an underlying disease. They are a sign of something else going on in your life. And if you are smoking too much marijuana, and if you are drinking too much, I would suggest getting some help for that, because those heart palpitations could actually in that case be another warning sign of something else, or if you are smoking too many cigarettes. Also, having those heart palpitations, try to avoid things that are excessively spicy or excessively greasy, and really focus if you are experiencing heart palpitations or this fluttering in the chest, focus on the emotional trauma that's going on in your life, or at least just the feeling to help for you to restore it back to harmony. And by doing the ha sound is such an easy thing to do in order to help to release this. And the other thing I recommend too is going ahead and doing that relationship checklist of your must-haves, your negotiable, and your deal breakers. So please click on the link below and share this YouTube channel with your friends and family. We're putting out all of this free information on different diseases and on different health topics for the sole reason to empower you to become the best person that you could possibly be. So enjoy this Valentine's Day, and until next time, I'm Chris Shelton signing off from a beautiful day in San Jose, California at the Morning Green Healing Arts Center. I will chi you later.